NBA Finals heat up as Wembanyama, Robinson clash sparks controversy in Knicks vs Spurs Game 2. The 2026 NBA Finals finally delivered the explosive moment fans had been anticipating. After a relatively disciplined and tactical Game 1, Game 2 exploded into chaos midway through the second quarter as physicality, emotions, and officiating controversy collided in a sequence that immediately shifted the tone of the series. What had begun as another intense frontcourt battle between Victor Wembanyama and Mitchell Robinson quickly escalated into the first major flashpoint of the finals. With both teams already trading bruising possessions and testing each other's limits, it took only one heated exchange to push things over the edge. By the time referees stepped in, the damage had already been done. The incident not only intensified the rivalry on the floor but also ignited a wider debate about officiating consistency, playoff physicality, and where the line should be drawn in the NBA's biggest stage. A physical series finally reaches its breaking point. From the opening tip, Game 2 carried a different energy. Game 1 had already established the tone: hard fouls, aggressive post-play, and minimal separation between two evenly matched teams. But Game 2 promised even more intensity, particularly with Victor Wembanyama entering the night clearly intent on responding to the physical punishment he absorbed in the series opener. On the other side, Mitchell Robinson embraced the assignment. Despite ongoing injury concerns and questions about his durability following a broken bone in his shooting hand earlier in the season, Robinson made it clear early that he was willing to match Wembanyama's physicality possession for possession. The early minutes reflected that mindset. Every screen was contested. Every rebound became a wrestling match. Every post entry felt like a collision waiting to happen. But no sequence captured the growing tension more than the mid-second quarter confrontation that would ultimately define the first half. Wembanyama vs Robinson, the moment everything changed. With the Spurs holding a 46-42 lead and under 5 minutes remaining before halftime, Wembanyama and Robinson locked up again inside the paint. What began as standard interior jostling quickly escalated into something far more heated. Initial contact appeared to come during a rebound battle, where both players fought for position. Bodies collided, arms tangled, and neither big man backed down. Then the situation escalated. The sequence looked on the verge of spilling into something much more serious before teammates rushed in from both sides. Officials sprinted toward the confrontation as players from both benches began to rise. Within seconds, the situation was under control, but the debate was just beginning. One technical foul, one major controversy. When the dust settled, referees issued a technical foul to Mitchell Robinson. No technical was assessed to Wembanyama. That decision instantly became the focal point of the night. Replay footage showed that Wembanyama appeared to initiate the sequence with the first push. Robinson responded physically, and the exchange escalated in both directions before cooling momentarily. Yet only one player was penalized. The call drew immediate criticism from broadcasters, analysts, and fans who questioned the consistency of the officiating in such a high-stakes environment. Richard Jefferson was among the most vocal in breaking down the sequence in real time. "It is physical, I don't disagree with this," Jefferson said. "Watch this. Wemby turns and pushes him, Wemby pushes him, and then they push each other back. And that's when the technical occurs on Mitchell Robinson." Mike Breen quickly followed with a differing interpretation. "That should be a double technical," Breen noted, suggesting both players should have been penalized equally. Tim Legler, however, took a more restrained stance. "Or nothing," he said, arguing that the contact may have fallen within the acceptable range of playoff physicality. Jefferson continued pressing the issue of consistency. "Jostling here, this is normal basketball," he explained. "Now Wemby pushes him back. That could have been a technical on Wemby, and then he pushes him back, and now you're like, oh, that's a technical on Robinson. You've got to call this thing even right down the middle." The debate reflected a broader concern that has followed the NBA throughout recent postseasons: where exactly does playoff physicality end and unsportsmanlike conduct begin? Replay only deepens the debate. As replay angles circulated across broadcasts and social media, the controversy intensified. From multiple angles, Wembanyama appeared to initiate the confrontation with a push to establish position. Robinson immediately retaliated with equal force. The two exchanged contact again before Wembanyama briefly raised his hands, seemingly attempting to disengage. But Robinson did not fully step away. Instead, he pursued Wembanyama, appearing to continue the physical exchange before teammates and officials finally intervened. The inconsistency of the ruling, both in timing and severity, became the central talking point of the first half. For many observers, the issue was not whether the play deserved discipline, but why only one player received it. Josh Hart flagrant adds to the chaos. As if the Wembanyama-Robinson confrontation were not enough, the game's physical tone escalated again shortly afterward. Josh Hart was assessed a flagrant 1 foul after grabbing Devin Vassell's ankle and sending him to the floor during a loose ball scramble. Unlike the earlier technical foul controversy, this call drew little disagreement. The action was clear on replay, and officials quickly categorized it as unnecessary contact. However, the incident reignited memories of Hart's previous playoff altercations, including a similar ankle grab moment during a 2023 postseason matchup against the Miami Heat. With multiple physical incidents stacking up within minutes, Game 2 was quickly shifting from a basketball contest into a test of composure. Officiating under the microscope. Despite the controversy, the broader officiating pattern remained relatively balanced throughout the first half. Both teams were being whistled at similar rates, and neither side appeared to receive preferential treatment over the course of the game. Spurs guard Stephon Castle, for example, picked up 3 personal fouls before halftime as officials attempted to control the physical tone. Still, it was the Wembanyama-Robinson sequence that dominated discussion. Not because of overall imbalance, but because of perceived inconsistency in one specific ruling. In high-stakes playoff environments, single decisions often carry outsized weight, and this was no exception. Wembanyama responds with aggression. If Game 1 had been about adjustment and learning, Game 2 quickly became about response. Victor Wembanyama entered the night with a clear shift in mentality. After struggling to impose his will in the series opener, the Spurs star made it evident from the opening minutes that he intended to attack more aggressively. That intent showed immediately in his matchup with Robinson. Unlike Game 1, where Wembanyama often played more methodically, Game 2 featured more direct confrontations in the paint. He sought contact, pushed the tempo in isolation situations, and repeatedly tested Robinson's ability to contain him one-on-one. At one point, Wembanyama crossed Robinson so cleanly that the Knicks center lost his balance and dropped to one knee, sending the crowd into a frenzy. The moment symbolized the shifting momentum in their individual duel. But it also contributed to the escalating physical tension that would eventually lead to the second quarter confrontation. A rivalry within the series. What is emerging between Wembanyama and Robinson is no longer just a positional matchup, it has become a defining subplot of the finals. Robinson's role is clear: disrupt rhythm, absorb contact, and challenge Wembanyama physically at every turn. Wembanyama's response has been equally clear: attack, respond, and refuse to be pushed off his spots. That collision of styles has turned their matchup into one of the most intense individual battles of the postseason. And Game 2 marked the first time that tension fully spilled over. Mike Brown's reaction adds unexpected layer. As play resumed following the technical foul, cameras briefly caught Knicks head coach Mike Brown reacting on the sideline. He appeared to be laughing. The moment quickly circulated online, with viewers debating whether Brown was reacting to the officiating decision, the chaos of the sequence, or simply the unpredictability of playoff basketball. Every possession carries tension. Every whistle carries weight. Every confrontation risks becoming a turning point. The Knicks and Spurs are no longer just competing for a championship, they are competing for composure under pressure. And as Game 2 showed, that battle is far from settled.